Flight Risk, the new Mark Wahlberg film starring Mark Wahlberg, directed by Mel Gibson, which I didn't know until at the end of the film when it said directed by Mel Gibson. Also starring some other actors I don't really know. What is this film about? This is what IMDb says. A pilot transports an air marshal accompanying a fugitive to trial. As they cross the Alaskan wilderness, tensions soar and trust is tested, as not everyone on board is who they seem. 10 points for anyone who can guess who's who in this film. It's just Mel Gibson's worst film. It was not a good film at all. Sorry for coughing, Mel Gibson, but you kind of deserve it, mate. Listen, Mel Gibson has made some of my absolute favourite films ever. I think Apocalypto, and I don't care how inaccurate it is, I just think that film is enthralling to watch. Like, Apocalypto, there's no film like that. It's so interesting, so exciting, so detail oriented. I don't know the right word. And just this car chase on foot, basically, is how I've heard him describe it, and that's what it is. It's this big chase. I've never seen any films with the Mayans in it, and it's just like, this is incredible. Braveheart, one of the absolute classics. Passion of the Christ, like, that film is such a bombastic piece of filmmaking, right? To tackle that and make it in that old Hebrew language and do that film just torturing Jesus for 2 hours. Like, let's torture Jesus for 2 whole hours, basically. So bombastically brave as a director, right? That's how I feel about Mel Gibson when he directs a film. That film about the war, Hacksaw Ridge, it just feels like he's very brave and he's going to tell his story in as bombastically as possible, and he's just going to be epic about it, and he's not going to hold back. There's going to be gore, he's not going to filter anything, and it's going to be pure entertainment and excitement. These films are. And then this film is all set on a plane with 3 actors with the most predictable storyline ever and some of the worst acting I've seen in a long time. The best performance was like an air traffic controller on the phone. This sort of, I guess maybe the accent was Indian. It sounded Indian. Charming, funny, helpful. Just that, whenever he came on, I was like, that's great. Great little voice performance there from that guy. But like, everything that happens on this plane, like the actor of the guy being transported, the fugitive, the guy who's going to be a witness, I guess, is acting so weird. Like he hasn't. There's no part of his personality that feels like fits this character at all. At some points he's really flirty. At some points he's jokey. At some points he's terrible. And it's just like, these don't suit you. Like for the person that you are, you've come up with, the actors come up with character traits which I feel like are not connecting at all to this person and the situation they're in. The main police officer lady, not good either. Like I didn't get that sense of something bad happening in the past from her, which, happens in all these police dramas. Like, oh, this police officer has had something bad happen in the past. Like, like, well, Mel Gibson. Stick with Mel Gibson, right? Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon 1, the torture and pain he's going through because of something that's happened to him is incredible to watch, and you can feel it, and it runs through that story like a freight train. The gun in his mouth, the acting, the fear of not being able to commit suicide and having to go out and be this cool police guy in this cool action film. Like, that storyline in that, like a police officer who's got the weight of the world on his shoulders, yet he's this cool guy in the rest of the film. Great, wonderful. In this film, like, that's Mel Gibson. He's done that. And in this film, you've got a similar situation with this lady. Like something's happened in the past with this female police officer, and it's like, yeah, like no attention or time is really given to that, and it's weird, and they expect these moments which I don't feel are earned. And then there's like these Mark Wahlberg accents. It's so weird. Why is he bald? Like he's bald for some reason with one of the worst bald caps I've ever seen. You can literally see like the makeup there, and it's like, who did like? Why is he bald? Firstly, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And who did the makeup? Like it looks so bad. And the accent that he's doing at the beginning, I know it's put on, but just strange acting choices from everyone, I have to say, apart from the Indian guy on the telephone, although he's probably not even Indian. And Mark Wahlberg's character makes no sense. Like he just doesn't seem to care if he's gonna die at all. Like there's so many instances where it's like, oh wow, you're like a suicide bomber. But for what? Like for what reason? Like surely if you're working for like a mobster, you're like a hired hand, you're doing things for money. He's just suicidal basically in this film. And I'm like, are you expecting expecting to become this like what are you? Are you a martyr? Are you expecting paradise after life? Gee, it didn't make any sense to me at all. And like they'd have these big fights on the plane, the female police officer and Mark Wahlberg, and she'd knock him out and then attend to things, and I'm like, tie him up. Like that should be your priority. Tie him up straight away. But yeah, just I have to say that film was remarkably bad. Remarkably bad. Remark Wahlbergably bad. Remark Wahlbergably bad.